At long last, the school year is about to come to an end, and it is a crucial time for your family's college planning, whether your child is among those planning to head off to their freshman year of college or looking forward to entering their junior or senior year of high school. In addition to the countless scholarship and financial aid applications for you and your child to wade through, your student needs to pull his or her weight in racking up the best grades and entrance exam scores possible. And atop all of these worries, you'll want to arrange your family's finances so as to bring in the maximum aid possible while keeping taxes at a minimum. How is all of this possible? Well, fortunately, we have closely observed this cycle a few thousand times in working with tens of thousands of families exactly like yours. And we put together this list of 6 important things to know before you send in the forms. We hope that you find them useful in your own preparation. Number 1. Private scholarships are nice, but don't bank on them. Considering college costs these days, it's no surprise that people tend to immediately think about private scholarships when they look at college funding. Scholarships are great. They consist of free money awarded to a student for excellence in academics, athletics, or other pursuits. But like most free things, there are some challenges involved. For example, while you may see listings for thousands of scholarships available on sites like fastweb.com and bigfuture.org, there usually are not very many that match up with the specific backgrounds of most students. As a matter of fact, only a tiny percentage, estimated between 1 to 3% of all financial aid comes in the form of scholarships at all. You will find that the bulk of financial aid is need-based aid, made up of loans, grants, and work-study programs coming directly from the government or the schools. In addition, while scholarships look great on a resume, they usually tend to nickel and dime the overall cost of college. You'll get a few $100s here or $1,000 there, but most private scholarships won't come close to covering the cost of a university education. With that rather sobering thought in mind, please remember that we do not recommend that you ignore scholarships altogether. 2. The early bird gets the worm, but there are still a few out there. In a perfect world, everyone would submit their FAFSA and CSS profile documents as early as possible. In real life, however, well, let's be honest, not everyone manages to get this important step done as quickly as they hope. Happily, if you have a student in your home who plans to begin college this fall and you still haven't submitted your financial aid forms, there is still a little time to pick up some college money. Latecomers are definitely under the gun to send those forms in right now. The reason for this is that such a high percentage of funding has already been awarded that you will need to jump on it in order to receive any of the assistance that's left. This important first year of college is always the best chance to come up with a good financial aid package for your child. This is in part because schools will often utilize their most competitive financial aid offers to try to encourage incoming freshmen to their doors, which will raise enrollment and usually ensure their attendance throughout an entire degree program. Therefore, the deal you negotiate with the school for this first year will affect future years as well. Number 3, applications are like anniversaries. They come every year and you don't want to forget them. You may think, with all the information that the schools and the financial aid organizations squeeze out of you, that you could fill all of the forms out once and never have to lay eyes on them again. Unfortunately, the financial aid world just doesn't work that way. You see, schools are well aware of the fluid nature of families' financial circumstances, and they use this fact to their benefit. The financial aid office knows that over the course of 1 year, you could receive a promotion, a new position, or some other windfall that substantially increases the cash available for your family, which is why they check up on your family's financial situation again every single school year. Of course, this can mean that pulling in a bigger salary or more commissions next year, or seeing a huge gain in your assets, could become a double-edged sword. All of that good fortune could result in a dwindling aid package for your student the following year. Naturally, if your situation takes a downward turn, your student could also end up with a larger funding package than last year. Whatever your situation, please remember that those funding applications don't stop when college starts. It is vital to remain up to date with them. Number 4, believe it, private schools may actually cost less than public schools. Initially, you may find that private school tuition can give you quite a case of sticker shock when compared with public institutions. However, with a little bit of research, it can become apparent that private schools are able to offer more financial aid too. And their particular brand of assistance can tend to be exactly the type you want. You may already know that the most beneficial type of financial aid comes in the form of grants and scholarships. These consist of what we like to consider free money. Whatever funds you get, you don't have to pay them back. Private schools, with a wealthy and generous alumni base, can provide more scholarships and funding to their students at their dear alma mater than public schools tend to. In fact, the public and state schools can even require payment of their money back with interest. We'd like to recommend that graduating seniors apply to between 5 to 7 schools and always try to include both public and private colleges in the mix. Number 5, the language of financial aid can be maddening, but it is understandable. Sooner or later, even experienced financial advisors discover that financial aid has a confusing language all its own. The financial aid offices use a lexicon of special terms and acronyms that only turn up on their turf, which is when you apply for college funding. Here's a sampling. EFC. The expected family contribution comes in 2 types. You will find that the federal EFC is the amount of money the government expects you to be able to pay for your child's college education, while the institutional EFC is the amount that private schools and colleges think you should pay. The private schools tend to have a more, shall we say, optimistic view of a family's ability to pay than the government does, but sometimes the government can get wacky ideas about it too. The bottom line is that the higher your EFC turns out to be, the bigger your bill. Therefore, it makes sense to do everything you can to reduce your family's EFC before completing the financial aid forms. Base financial year. Your base financial year is calculated during the tax year in which your child is a high school sophomore and junior. Your income, assets, and even your home's value will be used to calculate your EFC. Knowing that the sophomore-junior year is your base financial year allows you to prepare an appropriate financial strategy for your family. Fortunately, there are specific things you can do to keep your EFC down starting in that base financial year. Need. Need is subjective, right? Well, in the financial aid world, need is specifically the difference between your EFC and the cost of attending a school. That sum will vary according to the school's tuition and living fees and the size of your EFC. Since every school meets a percentage of your need, arranging your personal finances to reduce your EFC, thereby increasing your need, could help qualify for more grants and scholarships at every school you are considering. Number 6, remember, financial aid applications are not limited according to income. There are 2 types of financial aid: need-based, which is generally unavailable to families with high incomes, and non-need-based, which includes scholarships and loans available to just about any student who applies. Bear in mind that a wide range of criteria are considered when loans and scholarships are awarded. Some schools may weigh the overall cost of sending more than one child to college, whereas others might consider age, academic abilities, or specific talents developed by your child. It is also advisable to arrange your assets in an optimal manner before you submit your financial aid applications. If that detail is managed appropriately, it can open a variety of possibilities for you in funding your child's education, even if you have a higher income. In fact, it is within the realm of possibility to fund your child's college studies, pay off your mortgage, save toward retirement, and maintain your current lifestyle. Remember that you are not alone in this experience of preparing for your child's higher education. No matter what a family's income, very few can afford to simply pay for a high-quality college education out of pocket. We are a tremendous resource for you in this process, and we'll be happy to help in any way that we can. If you would be interested in creating a strategy that applies to your situation, visit us online to schedule a free meeting with a college planning specialist. That's it for this month. Until next month, visit our website to download our College Planning 101 course or to subscribe to our College Planning Experts monthly video series.